floor is yours.
Marijuana is currently illegal on a federal level. The use of medicinal marijuana is currently legal in 18 states, including 2 states such as Washington and Colorado, having legalized recreational marijuana. There are also 10 states with pending legislation to legalize medical marijuana. According to the Huffington Post, a recent poll shows that 56% of Americans vote in favor of legalization of marijuana and think it should be regulated like alcohol and tobacco. With 18 states legalized and 10 pending, the marijuana industry is getting uncontrollable for the government to regulate. Legalizing marijuana would bring the nation many benefits. It would benefit the economy drastically. According to a 2010 study from Cato, legalizing marijuana would generate $8.7 billion in federal and state tax revenue annually. Legalized marijuana would be taxed similar to alcohol and tobacco, and that the income earned by pot producers would be subject to standard income and sales tax. The taxes aren't the only source for revenue that would come from legalizing weed. According to the study, states and local governments also stand to save billions of dollars that they currently spend regulating marijuana use. We have 2 states in the United States that we look at for examples. Just in the state of Washington, it estimates that it will generate as much as $1.9 billion in annual revenue in 5 years due to legalization of marijuana. In 2011, Colorado pulled in $5 million in sales tax from medical marijuana businesses. Inmates that have been charged on marijuana crimes should be granted amnesty. Marijuana inmates are currently costing prisons $1 billion a year. 700,000 Americans are arrested every year on marijuana possession charges. These new convicts are driven from their jobs and families and are pushed into the prison system that turns first-time offenders into hardened criminals. In conclusion, legalizing marijuana would benefit our economy and save millions of dollars.
You still have about a minute left. Would you like to pass? Excellent. Thank you very much, Representative. At this time, we'll open the floor to a negative cross-examination of this constructive length of 1 minute. Negative team, your time starts now.
Okay, so now these people that are in jail for marijuana, they are in jail because they currently broke the law. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so someone who is willing to break the law, why would we want to let them back into society? Are we just going to assume that they're going to break no more laws ever?
Well, to be honest, there's always those people out there that will commit crimes, whether or not it is.
And these are those people. That's why they're in jail.
10 seconds.
Crime.
It's true, but we can't prevent people from not committing crimes. I mean, just because.
And it also is legal in 18
Thank you, Representatives Christian, Capron, and Hunter. At this time, the negative team has 30 seconds to prepare for their first constructive. Your preparation time starts now. Excellent. Negative team will open the floor to a 3-minute constructive and negative of the bill. Have I such a speech?
Yes.
Representative, oh my gosh, don't say it. Thompson. Representative Thompson, you have the floor.
The first point in this bill says that marijuana will be used for recreational use for adults. What are you considering adult? Do we actually know what marijuana does to the brain and how it affects the people? Well, let me inform you. According to the National Institute Drug Abuse, as THC enters the brain, it causes the user to feel euphoric or happy. By acting on the brain reward systems, which is made up of regions that govern the reason to pleasurable things like sex and chocolate, as well as most drugs of abuse, THC activates the reward system in the same way that nearly all drugs do of abuse, by stimulating brain cells to release the chemical dopamine. Along with euphoria, relaxation is another frequently reported effect in human studies. Other effects, which vary dramatically among different users, include heightening sensory perception, laughter, altered perception of time, and increased appetite. After a while, the euphoria subsides and the user may feel sleepy or depressed. Occasionally, marijuana use may produce anxiety, fear, distress, or panic. Although marijuana may feel positive while doing it, it may get you depressed or have anxiety. Did you know that 15% of people die because of depression? We shouldn't be doing everything for our country stop them from committing suicide. We want to save our people and reduce suicide rates, not increase them. The second point in this bill, it says that you want to grant amnesty to all currently outstanding violators facing cannabis sativa charges related below the felony level. Even though you would be legalizing marijuana and taking away the charges, these people are still violators of the law. These people were willing to go against the law once. What makes you think that they won't do it again and go against the law? And thirdly, you will be giving your profit money to Philip Morris, which is the same company that kills millions of people a year because of their product. Worldwide, tobacco use causes more than 5 million deaths per year, and current trends show that tobacco use will cause more than 8 million deaths annually by 2030. In the United States, smoking is responsible for adults 1 in 5 deaths annually. About 443,000 deaths per year are estimated. 49,000 of these smoking-related deaths are a result of secondhand smoke. On average, smokers die 13 to 14 years earlier than non-smokers. In conclusion, this bill is asinine. You are not concerned about the mental state of the people of the United States. You want to let felons out of jail, and you are willing to give a company money that kills millions of people a year. I think you should reconsider.
10 seconds left. Thank you very much, Representative. At this time, we'll open the floor to an affirmative cross-examination of this constructive, the length of 1 minute. Your cross-examination time begins now.
According to Philip Morris USA's official website, their mission and values are to 1. Invest in leadership, 2. Align with society, 3. Satisfy adult consumers, and 4. Create substantial value for shareholders.
While killing people.
Millions of people at that. How could you be okay with your product killing millions of people every single year? And not just those people that smoke, the people that get the secondhand smoke. There's just 49,000 people that die every year because of it.
Do you have the numbers from Philip Morris? Any stats?
Yes.
Not from Philip.
10 seconds.
According to Philip Morris,
And our cross-examination time is ended. Affirmative team, you have 30 seconds to prepare for your second constructive. Your preparation time starts now. Nice job so far, guys. Good start. Ten seconds for preparation. Excellent. Affirmative team, we'll open the floor to a 3-minute second constructive and affirmative of the bill. Have I such a speech?
Yes.
Representative Daly, the floor is yours.
In the 1920s, the American government passed the 18th Amendment stating that the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within, the importation thereof into, or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territory subject to the jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. Immediately after this amendment went into effect, consumption rate was 30% lower than it was before Prohibition. However, as illegal supplies increased and a new generation began to ignore this law, the rate of consumption increased to its original value before an amendment had to be made to override Prohibition. Overall, the Prohibition cost the federal government a total of $11 billion in lost tax revenue, while costing over $300 million to enforce the law. The growth of illegal liquor trade made criminals of millions of Americans. The legal system failed to keep up. Does this sound familiar? Illegal supplies increasing, more rebellious generations, more criminals? Keeping marijuana illegal is a solution that is worse than the problem itself. Marijuana has been proven to be safer than alcohol for both the consumer and the community. There has never been a fatal marijuana overdose. The official publication of the Scientific Research Society, American Scientists, reported that alcohol is one of the most toxic drugs, and using just 10 times what one would use to get the desired effect could lead to death. Marijuana is one of, if not the, least toxic drug, requiring thousands of times the dose one would use to get the desired effect to lead to death. The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism estimates that 25 to 30% of violent crimes in the U.S. are linked to the use of alcohol. The government does not even track violent acts specifically related to marijuana use, as it has not been associated with violence. However, marijuana prohibition is associated with acts of violence due to the creation of a widespread criminal market.
Also, with a more diverse crop range, many farmers, local and nationwide, who obtain a license to grow marijuana will profit greatly whether they choose to grow marijuana itself or the crops that become more scarce because of the increase in marijuana, such as cotton and tobacco. Other businesses that will be affected by this will be bakeries and places that make beverages. They could benefit by producing marijuana-infused products. That is all.
Thank you very much, Representative. At this time, we will open the floor to a negative cross-examination of the speech. Length of 1 minute. Your time starts now.
Okay, so as we all know, marijuana is best grown in a tropical environment. It is considered a tropical plant. America does not have very many tropical environments. So how are we going to stop countries that have better growing conditions from importing the marijuana and selling it in our country?
We will stop that by creating indoor environments of tropical conditions so that we will not need to import it.
How many people went against the law for alcohol and then continued to go against the law once it was legalized?
10 seconds.
Are you saying you're going to be able to replicate a tropical environment that like a place already has indoors? You're not going to be able to create it on the scale that another country has.
Why not?
Anything's possible.
We already allowed increasing.
Thank you all, representatives. Our cross-examination time has ended. We will now move on to the negative team's preparation of 30 seconds. Preparation time starts now.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Negative team, we'll open the floor to a 3-minute second and final constructive. Have I such a speech? Representative Hunter, the floor is yours.
I can't even believe we're debating this. The federal legalization of marijuana is completely absurd at this point in time. There are many dangerous things about the substance that cannot be controlled or monitored, such as unwanted intoxication from secondhand smoke, which could easily occur if an individual is in close proximity to someone smoking a marijuana cigarette. And what if the individual is a minor? Now we'll have minors getting intoxicated without even purchasing or choosing to use the substance. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, in 2009, 19.5% of high school minors reported smoking cigarettes at least once in the previous month. 14% were current cigar smokers, and 8.9% were current smokeless tobacco users. If marijuana is marketed in a similar way as tobacco, it is safe to assume that marijuana will be used by minors at least as frequently as tobacco because of its increased accessibility. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, marijuana has been shown to substantially impair coordination, disrupt learning and memory, and decrease problem-solving skills. Do you really want minors, or even adults for that matter, to have increased access to this dangerous substance? Here's a quote from the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Research has shown that in chronic users, marijuana's adverse impact on learning and memory persists after the acute effects of the drug wears off. When marijuana use begins in adolescence, the effects may persist for many years. End quote. Not to mention the inevitable respiratory problems that will result from smoking anything. And we also don't know the effects of the drug on development in adolescence. And since more of them are going to be using it, that's going to be problematic. And how will the drug be monitored for purity and safety? Will it be like tobacco, which contains countless harmful additives and kills 443,000 people per year, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention? As I said earlier, how will we limit imports to stop the marijuana trade from becoming predominantly a foreign market? Also, as of right now, there is no immediate test for marijuana intoxication, and according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, marijuana use, because of its impairments of judgment and motor coordination, more than doubles a driver's risk of being in an accident. How can we allow people to use this substance? It will harm the youth of America and make the roads a more dangerous place. Think about the children!
10 seconds.
That's all.
Thank you very much, Representative. At this time, we'll open the floor to an affirmative cross-examination of this very emotional constructive. The length of 1 minute. Your time starts now.
Representative Hunter, you say that it affects children by secondhand smoking, and you say think about the children and stuff. Well, what about the legalization of the cigarettes we have today? And thinking about the children, there are other things we need to worry about than just marijuana smoking.
Yes, but marijuana, you do agree that marijuana smoking is one of those issues, and that
The
is what we are
first
here for
breathalyzer
currently.
wasn't
Please do
invented
not
until
interrupt me, Representative
1954.
Daly. That is very disrespectful. We are here debating marijuana, not tobacco.
10 seconds.
I didn't say anything about tobacco.
Yes, you did.
The first breathalyzer wasn't invented until 1954, long after alcohol was legalized.
Thank you very much. Representatives, at this time, the affirmative team has 30 seconds to prepare for their first rebuttal. Your preparation time starts now. Excellent. Everyone's good?
Yeah.
All right, affirmative team, we're going to open the floor to a 2-minute first rebuttal in affirmative of this bill. Have I such a speech?
Yes.
Representative Kunkel, the floor is yours.
Prohibition has failed to control the use and domestic production of marijuana. Marijuana is now used by over 25 million people annually. Marijuana is actually safer than alcohol. It is a scientific fact that marijuana is not as toxic to humans. Marijuana overdoses are impossible and no one has ever died from one. And marijuana is not nearly as addictive as alcohol or tobacco. It is unfair to treat marijuana users more harshly under the law than the users of alcohol or tobacco. Marijuana is too expensive for our court system and should be instead taxed to support beneficial government programs. We arrest 750,000 individuals a year for marijuana possession. Marijuana arrest makes the system more expensive and less efficient in the United States, wasting jail space, clogging up court systems, etc. Taxation of marijuana can provide needed funding of many important criminal justice programs as murder, sexual abuse, or terrorism. Legalizing and regulating marijuana will bring the nation's possibly largest cash crop under a more efficient and effective law, creating jobs and economic opportunities in the formal economy instead of illegally. Cannabis is currently the largest cash crop in California, with it being legalized. We agree that the teenage use of alcohol and tobacco remain a serious public health problem, even though these drugs are legal for adults. We also agree that marijuana is not for children. However, adults have demonstrated over the last several decades that marijuana can be used moderately without harmful impacts to the individual or society.
10 seconds remain.
You keep comparing marijuana to alcohol, like by saying that it's less dangerous, but are we forgetting that
Is
it's
this your time to talk?
Thank you very much, Representatives. At this time, the negative team will have 30 seconds to prepare for their first rebuttal. Your preparation time starts now. Excellent. I will now open the floor to a 2-minute rebuttal in negative of the bill. Have I such a speech?
Yes.
Representative Tom, the floor is yours.
You said marijuana is actually safer than alcohol, but do you remember that marijuana is currently the leading cause of substance dependence other than alcohol in the United States? In 2008, marijuana use accounted for 4.2 million of the 7 million people aged 12 or older classified with dependence or abuse of an illegal drug. This means about two-thirds of Americans suffering from any substance use disorder from marijuana abuse or marijuana dependence. And okay, you mentioned about Colorado and all the states that legalize marijuana. But do you know that from 2001 to 2010, Colorado police arrested 108,000 arrests for possessing marijuana. More than 79% of them were 29 or younger. And taxes on recreational use of marijuana legalized in Colorado is so high, so that cause there are still lots of people rely on illegal drugs. And now the taxes is about 25%. So here I'm trying to say is that legalizing marijuana doesn't mean the police don't have to deal with illegal drugs anymore. So we need better solution than just legalize it.
We've got about 40 seconds left if anyone needs it.
I just want to elaborate on the fact that even though marijuana is safer than alcohol, keep in mind alcohol, you can overdose on that. It impairs driving severely. Marijuana is still dangerous, and it's making it
10 seconds.
more dangerous harmful to the health of anyone who uses it.
Thank you, Representatives Hunter and Tan. At this time, the affirmative team will have 30 seconds to prepare for their second rebuttal. Your preparation time starts now. Ten seconds. Affirmative team, your preparation time has ended. At this time, we will open the floor to a 1-minute second rebuttal and affirmative of the bill. Have I such a speech? Representative Kaplan, the floor is yours.
All right, to start off, if we legalize marijuana, we're not saying that it's going to stop all drug-related crimes. We are saying it's going to minimize drug-related crimes, okay? There is no guarantee that all the problems will be fixed with drugs and everything such as that. There will still be people out there that will misuse drugs and just keep pushing the line, and there should be no exempting from punishing them.
Come in. Have a good day. Sorry about that. 10 seconds.
Okay, and
Affirmative team, your time has now ended. Negative team has 30 seconds to prepare for their second rebuttal, and that preparation time starts now. Ten seconds. Preparation time is now ended. Negative team will open the floor to a 1-minute second rebuttal in negative of the bill. Have I such a speech? Representative Noblock, the floor is yours.
Legislation will most likely not lower the prices of recreational desirable marijuana because it is very difficult to grow, and any marijuana grown outdoors in the USA will likely have not low THC content, and there is no immediate testing for marijuana that indicates, in accordance to the National Institution of Drug Abuse and Marijuana Use in Driving, because it is in
10 seconds.
Judgment and motor coordination. These people were willing to go against the law once. That makes you think they won't be.
Thank you, Representative Noblock. Your time has ended. At this time, the affirmative team will have 30 seconds to prepare for their third and final rebuttal. Your preparation time starts now.
we're ready to go.
Affirmative team will open the floor to a 1-minute third and final rebuttal and affirmative of the bill. Have I such a speech? Representative Kaplan, the floor is yours.
Smoking marijuana is a relaxing and perplexing feeling that loosens the mind. In itself, it has never killed anyone, and it's practically impossible to die by an overdose. When marijuana is kept illegal, it is preventing happiness. And based upon the Constitution, the pursuit of happiness is not being fulfilled. So why prevent this happiness? The system is dangerous currently only because it is controlled, and imitation isn't controlled, and imitations and other artificial substances may be mixed with this marijuana, causing the drug to be at a higher risk. Making the substance legal will allow a more organized way of knowing what the consumer is purchasing, as well as controlling the underage misuse of the drug. The economy will benefit off cannabis just like any cash crop, such as tobacco, with the increase of jobs as well as high profits, which will benefit from taxing of this expensive product, which is so hard to grow.
10 seconds remain.
With the world having cannabis as widespread as it is today, there is no point in preventing it now. The world will become less chaotic with the cannabis claiming abilities, crime rates will drop, finally cause less stress in the world.
Thank you very much, Representative Kaplan. Very well timed. Negative team, 30 seconds to prepare for your third rebuttal. Preparation time starts now. 10 seconds.
I think we're ready.
Excellent. Negative team will open the floor to a third and final rebuttal, the length of 1 minute and negative of the bill. Have I such a speech? Representative Claggett, the floor is yours.
Okay, so you said that marijuana has never killed anyone, but there is nearly a 5-fold increase in the risk of heart attack when using marijuana because of the increased heart rate, which leads to many, many problems, especially if you're older. Heart rate can lead to death, so technically that means that it could kill someone.
To counter that, if you know you have a heart problem, you probably should be more
It's not
aware.
your time to talk.
Please pause so I can.
You said how you may feel happy at first, but the euphoric subsides when the user may feel sleepy or depressed. 15% of depression results in suicide.
And we definitely do not need any more suicide because that is completely wrong, and anything that leads to suicide should not be allowed.
Are you willing for your users to go ahead and be suicidal?
10 seconds remain.
Think about the children. How can you let this be?
Do you guys have a donkey brand certificate?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We do.
For all of you?
I'm just interested.
Hold on.
We do have one.
I'm going to let time keep going because I want to see what happens.
That's the wrong one. Well,
Oh, there it is.
right here. No donkey brains. Oh, and look here. We have donkey brain certificate.
Thank you.